presentation, and great that you're here because we got very exciting news to share with you and just some updates and other bits and pieces. So Roger, if you just want to mute the people apart from anybody who's speaking on the call, that'd be great. And people who come along maybe looking at this for the first time, I think it's really important to define and to clarify why we are here and who are these people that I've come into contact with and what do they do, and just to expand your knowledge and just to give you an idea of where we're coming from and how you can potentially also become part of this and see something here for you. Well, the first thing is, who are we? People on the call like Roger, Cecilia, Ray, etc. Well, we're basically a community of environmentally conscious entrepreneurs. And that means that we look at business, we're people looking for a business basically. We're entrepreneurial, and this can be for many people also a part-time business, and many people start off working with us in a part-time sort of setup, and then as time progresses, they may feel that it's something they want to divert more of their time and energy into and develop a full-time participation with this, but also then create a full-time income as well. And also the fact that the businesses that we want to get involved with have to be something that has got an environmental aspect to it. And as we go through the presentation, we're going to home in on very specifically what this area is that we're working in right now, and also some future possibilities as well. And basically what we do as a community of entrepreneurs with this environmental aspect, we help finance environmentally sustainable projects that basically create change for a better world. And there's so much, in the news, right now about the environment. If we didn't have all the COVID thing going on and maybe the American elections going on, then the environment would be, one of the biggest topics, the hottest topics out there. Because when I'm sure many of you have seen, some, very mainstream, films that have come out in the last year. There's a great series or a great film on Netflix now that many of you will have seen, and it's a really very impactful film, and that is David Attenborough, his film A Life on Earth. And his, that's a gentleman who's been an advocate for the wildlife, the nature, our planet, everything to do with our environment and protecting it for the future generations for more than half a decade. And I'm sure everybody's heard of Sir David Attenborough. He's 93 years old now, and it's incredible that the gentleman is just still at the top of his game and bringing out and producing these incredible films. And this really brings across to us how dramatic the issue is relating to our environment. And what I love about that film is that it's not just he highlights obviously the major issues that we're facing right now, but also that there are solutions. And that is really important, that there is a ray of hope, that there is a possibility to make a change. And that's why we get involved in these types of projects, because we know that they will make a change, and we can make a change, but we can make a huge change when we come together as a community. It's not that just 1 and 1 is 2, 1 and 1 is 11. 1 and 1 and 1 is not just 3, it could be 111. So exponentially, the group can create much, much more of an impact. So without, getting too much down that sort of, rabbit hole and, preaching to you about the environment, which, I don't need to do, just watch these films. I mean, they're very, very educational and important information that people know about and share with other people. Another great film on Netflix as well is Kiss the Ground, about how we can use our soil much, much better and protect the environment by capturing carbon, stuff like that. Fascinating film. Again, a mainstream actor is one of the presenters on that film, Woody Harrelson, a very famous actor in the United States. So there's great information out there, and it's also just lovely to watch, with some friends, invite some people around, put on the Netflix and watch these films. It's educational and inspiring also. And that's really also something as an entrepreneur that I just love, to be inspired by something. It just means that, yeah, this is something that we should be getting involved with. Now, just to maybe home in on the area that we're working in right now, and also maybe just to give you a sort of a global sort of picture. We're just going to play a couple of short videos for you. The first one is a very general video, and it again, brings the issues to the front, but also that we can do something about it. So I'm just going to play now a little 3-minute video for you, just to, especially for the new people who may not have seen this, just to bring this impact of the environment issues across to you.
Air pollution is the worst it has ever been, affecting 92% of humankind and killing millions each year. Can I stop it? Plastic waste is everywhere, on the highest mountains, on the deepest ocean floor, on every beach, embedded in Arctic ice. Can I clean it? We eat 70,000 pieces of microplastic per year. The chemicals in it can alter hormones and damage our health. Plastic kills 1.1 million sea animals each year and threatens all marine life. Can I save it? 800 million people are vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Over 1 million species are at risk of extinction because 1.5 acres of forest is chopped down every second. Half of the world's jungles have already been wiped out. Can I change it? 1.1 billion people lack access to water. 2.4 billion people are exposed to disease because of dirty water. Can I fix it?
Yes, I can. I can make a difference.
I can help fight for our planet.
I can be a force for good.
I can be a catalyst for change.
I will do my part.
I will change.
I will spread the word.
I will keep believing.
We can. We will. Keep on sharing.
Ecovo. Sharing matters.
Yes, very impactful, and Ecovo sharing matters. We will speak a little bit more about Ecovo in a later part of the presentation as to how that ties in with everything. But also now what I want to do is to get very specific and actually show you the change that we are making, that we're actually doing something here. It's not just that we're talking about it. And on the right of the screen, you will see hopefully some pictures of these blue cylinders. So what is all that about? Well, basically, this is something that our partner in Thailand, Corsair Group, has been working very, very hard the last months to set up our first environmentally sustainable project related to the plastic waste, taking the plastic waste out of the environment and creating something of great value, very high grade fuel from that. And Corsair, just to give you a little bit more about what they do, they really take on the challenges that we're facing in the environment right now. And they're addressing three main areas, three fundamental areas that we need to do something about. One is the issue of plastic waste. And we'll speak a little bit more about that in the little film that you're going to see in a moment. But also air pollution and climate change. Now, if you had to put the three issues on, the top 4 or 5 issues facing the environment, certainly these three would be in the top 5. There's no doubt about that. Our first plastic waste to fuel project has been set up in Thailand, and it was actually set up a few short months ago in June 2020. And already we've made enormous progress, and this progress will be shown in the little video that you'll see in a moment. And just to give you a little update, we're actually now installing a third unit, which they'll talk about. Hopefully by the end of this month, that one will be up and running as well. But other projects for the future that are also being targeted and being worked on and talked through with the relevant parties in certain countries are projects that are coming up in Slovenia towards the end of this year, Belgium next year, and Ireland and Colombia also next year. And there's also many, many other irons in the fire, so to speak. But this is something that, you know, we just don't need to have one project in a country. We could have hundreds, literally hundreds of projects in Bangkok. Now, a project, as you will hear in the later slides, is where we have 10 of these units, these machines actually working. And that will create a situation where, one, the project is extremely profitable because at a certain moment in time it breaks even. And then, of course, it's creating a substantial amount of production. We're actually getting up to what we call industrial scale production, because one of these machines is very great and very significant. But obviously when we add 2, 3, 4, 5, your break-even point is reached and your profits soar. So it makes sense to do it in a certain way. So in the next slide, or the next little film I'm going to show you, is going to talk specifically about what's happening in the ground in Bangkok. Now, this film's a couple of weeks old, and we could be doing an update film every week for you, and we will in the next week's update again when the third machine is up and running. But I'll just give you a little insight right now as to what's actually happening on the ground in Bangkok.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to a brief virtual tour to our waste plastic to fuel production facility here in Bangkok, Thailand, where we convert your plastic garbage into advanced biofuel. Our raw material includes plastic bags, wrapping materials, and other packaging products, which are delivered for us packed in tight bales, allowing us to load our production modules efficiently. Our facility currently includes 2 waste plastic to fuel production units, which are together capable of producing approximately 120,000 liters of fuel per month. The process begins by loading the plastic garbage into the production unit and starting the pyrolysis process by applying heat to the plastic waste. This process creates flammable gases and smoke, which are then channeled through a distillation system and converted into pyrolysis crude oil. This crude oil can be used in heavy-duty, low-speed engines, or it can be refined into commercial gasoline, diesel, and kerosene jet fuel. Our facility includes today 2 production units, and we are currently preparing the facility for the installation of the 3rd unit. The 3 production units are together capable of increasing our monthly production capacity to nearly 200,000 liters of oil per month. Our target is to have a total of 10 such production units operational at this facility by the end of 2021, and to reach a production output of approximately 600,000 liters per month. We wish to thank you very much for your support to this important mission of cleaning our environment from the plastic garbage and converting it into fuel for our daily lives. Thank you.
Great. Wonderful to see actually something being done to eliminate the challenge of plastic waste that is just causing so much devastation globally. And of course, this means that these projects can really make an impact. Now, just to give you some more numbers, just to really bring this point across as to how big an impact this actually can make. And this is important to realize, because if we just look at basically the plastic usage, or how much plastic that we consume or we use as individuals, that figure pretty much approximates to approximately 35 kilograms per year per person globally. We call that the plastic footprint, very simple way to describe it. Now, of course, there will be some countries where, you know, it may be higher, and there'll be some countries where it may be lower, but, you know, 35 kilograms, I think, is a pretty acceptable figure. And if you look next time you go shopping in your supermarket trolley, then you'll get an idea of how much plastic that we're actually using. Everything's wrapped in plastic, and we're actually seeing a rise in the use of plastic instead of a decrease, because now people want to be sure that they're safe and protected from any sort of airborne, contamination that may be floating around. So everything's wrapped, in plastic, and all these masks and things as well. There's a large percentage of them, plastic as well. So we're actually seeing a huge increase, in plastic. The environment is taking a second place to this. As people are scared, they want to be protected. Now, if we look at the numbers as to what one of these projects can actually do, how much plastic it can actually take away from the environment on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, one of these machines can actually take 120,000 kilograms of plastic out of the environment, and that goes into the machine, and then it's heated, and a process called pyrolysis takes place, where basically that plastic that's going in there is transformed into gas and vapor. Some of the gas is taken off to reheat the process, because you need heat to fire this process on, and the smoke, the vapor, is taken off. It's completely sealed and very safe, of course, and that's taken off and then distilled into fuel, into oil, and that oil then can be further refined to, as what the gentleman said in the film, gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, and even used to make new plastic again if necessary. Now, one of these machines taking away 120,000 kilograms of plastic will convert that into approximately 60,000 liters of fuel. Now, obviously, with two machines, that doubles, but our target is to build each project out to at least 10 machines. That will get us, as I say earlier, up to this very important level of industrial scale production of approximately 600,000 liters of high-grade fuel on a monthly basis, removing over 1.2 million kilograms of plastic waste out of the environment. Now, if we look at those numbers, and we know that one person basically creates 35 kilograms of plastic waste on a yearly basis, that would mean that on a monthly basis, with our project fully functioning, that would be cleaning up the waste for over 34,000 people on a monthly basis. And if we look at that based on a yearly figure, that's over 400,000 people. I think that is a very significant step forward. And of course, these projects are set up in a way that make them profitable. So it makes just common sense for everybody to expand this process. So with 10 projects up and running, hopefully by maybe the end of next year, we will be cleaning up the mess for over 4 million people. So you can see the impact and how simple this really is. So it's like small little building blocks, putting one machine there, building it up to 10. Well, that's the project. And then we start another project and do the same all over again. We can do this all over the world and really make something that, can make change for a better world. So we support something that's highly profitable and also cleaning our planet from plastic waste. Now, if we also now look at what makes this fuel so special, because this is where we now look at the long-term sustainability aspect of this project and these projects. Because if we're just taking all this plastic waste and stuffing it into a big blue cylinder and it disappears forever, ever and ever, that would be a great thing to do. It may not necessarily be so profitable because there'll be some costs associated with that. But when we can create a business from it that's profitable, then of course we have long-term sustainability, and we can create many, many, many of these projects around the world. Let's first look at the type of fuel that is produced by these units, by these machines that you saw there in the film. It creates a fuel that's termed advanced biofuel. This basically means fuel that is made from plastic. It's just a label. When you take plastic and you convert it back into fuel, because plastic originally was made from oil, and you convert it back into fuel, it's termed advanced biofuel. Now, what's also very interesting and special about this fuel is very low carbon, much more eco-friendly, and it's got a very, very low sulfur content. We'll speak a little bit more about that in a moment. And the market potential, just to highlight to you how huge the demand is, we're just going to look at two very simple aspects. And of course, right now, our production is quite small, and we have many local factories in Bangkok that are very happy to take the fuel, from us. And in fact, one of our clients is a glass manufacturer, and they use the oil, the fuel that's being produced to fire their furnaces to, assist in the process of the glass making. But there's a huge demand, for so much of this fuel out there. And if we just look at the EU road traffic consumption of, fuel, that's people moving around in their cars, the buses and trucks and everything else that powers the economy, the EU road traffic fuel consumption is over 34 billion litres per year. Now, EU legislation has legislated that fuel sold at the gas station must now contain this advanced biofuel as an additive. So it's like they want to put more of this advanced biofuel into the fuel just to stimulate this this process of taking plastic waste out of the environment. Now, by next year, 2021, there has to be a minimum of 1.5 as an additive of advanced biofuel in the fuel that's sold at the gas station. This creates a demand of over 5.1 billion litre needed to meet this demand. And by 2030, this is rising incrementally over the years up to 2030. They want to see 10% minimum advanced biofuel, which again equates to, based on the current usage, over 34 billion litres needed to meet this demand. Another area that's very interesting for us to look at, now we come back to the very low sulfur content in the fuel. And the reason that it's got a very low sulfur content is because when you have, food in your shopping trolley that's wrapped in plastic, that plastic has to be safe to wrap that food. If it's your cheese, your pears, your avocados, or whatever it is, or your salami, then there can't be any sort of chemicals in the plastic that could potentially get into the food that would cause harm when people eat the food. So it has to be pretty clean. So that means that when plastic is made, certainly for wrapping and stuff like this, and this is actually the best plastic for us, because this is the plastic that's not recycled. A lot of bottles are recycled, but the wrapping is not recycled. It's just dumped or burned or something else. So if we can recycle this, we have a really good project. And also, this gives us a very high yield as well on the weight to fuel that we produce. Now, this very low sulfur aspect, because a lot of these heavy chemicals like sulfur and dioxins and everything else have been taken out of the oil to make it to save plastic. It means that the sulfur content, when we reverse the process, is very, very low. It's almost negligible. Now, what has been happening in the maritime sector over the last years, they've come to realize that the pollution that these huge boats are just, from burning fuel, what they're pushing out there into the atmosphere is causing huge damage. And a very alarming statistic is that 15 of these largest container ships, now you see a picture of one on the slide. I mean, these things are like floating apartment blocks, produces more sulfur, pollutes more sulfur than all of the world's road traffic combined. So 15 of these big boats do an enormous amount of polluting. And the reason is because they're running on very dirty fuel that's got a very high sulfur content, because they want to run them as cheap as possible. And that has a sulfur content normally of between 3.5 and 5%. Now, the IMO, the International Maritime Organization, that is responsible for the legislation in maritime and anything going on the international water, has legislated that the sulfur content has to be lowered. And from this year, it's stated that on international water, when these boats are sailing around, they got to reduce the sulfur content to 0.5, 0.5%. And when they come close to land, come close to the coast where there's populations, they have to reduce it even further to 0.1%. Now, maybe it's very interesting to know that our advanced biofuel has got a sulfur content of a much, much lower amount, and that is 0.031%. So just by this legislation alone relating to the maritime sector, this is creating a demand of over 400 billion litre per year. So I think you get the message. There's a huge demand for this type of fuel. It basically means that all the fuel that we can produce from all of these projects, that we can get rid of it, we can sell it. So that is an amazing situation to be in for any business. Doesn't matter how much product you make, you're going to sell it. Don't even have to think about the marketing. Just put it out there and there'll be people, snapping your hand off to buy it. So that is the position we're in. And we're really, really at the beginning of this whole thing. Now, we, because we have this fuel that we consider really part of our future, we really want to do something different on how this fuel is traded. So first of all, just to look at how fuel traditionally is traded on the world markets. I'm talking now about the crude oil coming out of the ground in countries like Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or the North Sea even, or the Gulf of Mexico. That fuel is traded on the world market with the petrodollar, with the oil sales being offered on markets. But if you want to buy it and you've got Japanese yen, British pounds, or whatever, euro, you must convert into the petrodollar. So it's linked to the dollar. Now we thought, could we do something different? And I think this is very interesting how this is actually been established. Let me introduce the ISF Susnova Token. ISF for Innovations for a Sustainable Future. Now, the Susnova tokens are linked to the profit from the oil production. Now, first, let me explain how these projects are set up, how they're funded, to be very specific. Basically, the money coming from our activity as a group of environmentally conscious entrepreneurs is put together. We're just like an investor into these projects, our communities, just like people putting in together in one amount the money to set these projects up or to help finance them. And we do that together with private finance, people who are wealthy individuals or companies or organizations who also believe in this great idea, this great mission. And together, this means that we got more money in the pot. So what that means is we can expand these projects faster. And like any business, when you're starting off, you've got costs, you've got to pay staff, you've got to produce your product, you've got to buy in your raw materials. At a certain moment in time, you get to what we call the break-even point of your business. Now, the quicker that we can get to the break-even point, the quicker we can make profit from that moment on. So by combining the financing from what we do together with private equity, it means that together we can have more of these machines in operation quicker, which means that we've got more oil, which means that we have more profit. And the relationship that we have, the agreement that we have with the Corsair group, is that 1/3 of the profit from this specific project in Bangkok will go into buying these tokens from the publicly traded exchange. So it would seem to me, it would be a very interesting thing to do, is to get some of these tokens and have them, because yeah, the price will be determined by the exchange, more tokens being brought from the exchange, more machines coming into play, more oil, more profit, etc., etc. Now, this token, just to give you a little bit more background about how this is set up, it's actually an ERC20 token. Now, what does that mean? It's just an Ethereum token. Now, Ethereum is on the Ethereum blockchain. These ERC20 tokens are on the Ethereum blockchain. And Ethereum is probably the second largest blockchain out there after Bitcoin. And it's very stable, everybody trusts it, and it's also decentralized. So it also means that when you have this ISF token, it's in your wallet. It's like having money in your bank account, because only you have access to it, or should have access to it. So you can decide when you want to put it onto the exchange and sell it whenever you want. It's entirely up to you. And also, because it's on the blockchain, very transparent, it's also traded on the public exchange. So everything's very simple and very, very open. Now, I would suggest that it would be a very prudent idea to build up a portfolio of this ISF token, because as I say, more oil, is produced from more machines, more profit. So the more profit we make, the more tokens are bought from the exchange. So let me now get into how we can be awarded these very interesting Susnova tokens to build up and develop our portfolio. Basically, it's working, together as a team and, putting this information out there. Now, we do that as a community through our Ecovo platform. I think in the next weeks, we're going to see many enhancements to the platform. But Ecovo is basically a social media platform related to environmental issues. It's also connected to many of the other social media platforms out there like LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. And let me just give you a little bit more definition of the Ecovo platform and what Ecovo actually is. Ecovo is an environmentally purpose-driven social platform that empowers all to play an important part in the global fight against plastic waste, while enjoying multiple features, benefits, and incentives. Basically, anything to do with the environment is something that's relevant on this platform. And by people interacting with this platform, the message is going out there to the world. Basically, we turn the trash into cash by getting our message out to the world. And what's also really, really cool is that by registering on the Ecovo platform, it's completely free and without any obligation whatsoever. Now, you may ask, well, how do we get this Susnova token? Well, by interacting on the Ecovo platform, you're awarded what we call free loyalty points. It's like many things that we're already doing. Many of you may be a member of a supermarket rewards package or rewards program, also hotel rewards programs and airline rewards programs. There's many of these programs out there. When you purchase, a room at a hotel or a flight on an airline, you can save up hotel points, airline points, or whatever. And later you can use these maybe to get an upgrade on the room, an upgrade on your flight, or maybe even book a room or book a flight. That's the way it works. And many of you will already have experienced that. So basically, for every euro spent on the Ecovo platform, you will be awarded free loyalty points. And most purchases will be matched on a one-to-one basis. So cents will represent one free loyalty point saved up. And there are many very interesting packages that are available. Media packages which will allow you to promote your activity and educate people on the platform and about these environmental issues. Services, cashback, travel, shopping, dining, and education, and so forth. So for more information on the products, that's something that you can refer to with the person who invited you onto the call. And when we collect these free loyalty points for our activity and our purchases, what we then do is we can redeem them. We can go along and say, I want to hand in my free loyalty points, and they will be converted into this ISF Susnova token. And basically, you can collect and build up your portfolio as much as you want. So that's pretty simple how we do that. But there's a little bit more how we can actually build that out further. And you may ask, why do you work like this? Well, it's very simple. All the net profits that are from the products sold on the Ecovo platform, they go towards help financing the Corsair environmentally sustainable projects. So we're basically a non-profit organization in that sense, that we then fund the profits into the environmentally sustainable projects. Now, basically your involvement helps getting rid of plastic waste and also supports the environment at the same time. Now, just quickly looking at the Ecovo packages here, you can see many different packages here, ranging from the starter package all the way up to the platinum package, where the packages, as they're bundled together, will give you much more value than the individual components of the packages. So discounted package bundles give you better value. The net profits from the sale of these packages is used to finance new projects, of course. Now, how do we get involved with this? Very simple. As I said, registering on the platform is free. Then you become a follower. Hey, I'm following this information. This makes total sense to me. I want to get more educated. I want to find out more about this. And you can enjoy many free features that's available on the platform, like offers, deals, cashback, and much more. Now, if you want to have a little bit more of an activity with this and accelerate your collection of free loyalty points that you can then convert into the Susnova token, you can purchase, and also some of the very interesting packages that's there. You may find those very attractive to purchase for the products that's there. And every euro spent will give you a match of €1 in or one free loyalty point. And that's just to become a consumer. But if you really want to have a greater impact, you can do what we do and promote this and tell people about this and create a home-based business for yourself. And then you become what we term an influencer. And to do that, we have a necessary requirement where we acquire a business license to expand our sphere of influence, enjoy profits and commissions and bonuses as an entrepreneur with the Amplivo community. Now, to become an entrepreneur with this type of business, for me, is a very simple choice. To get set up, business license is €95, and we get a whole back office administration for that we can track our business and everything else. But also it allows us to participate in the compensation plan, which rewards us to promote this and talk about it to other people. And our compensation plan is really a very, very generous and well thought out and exciting compensation plan that will pay you very, very handsomely for this activity of promoting this to other people. But also, as that influence grows and other people share it with other people, then you begin to create what we call this passive income. You could be off doing something else and people are working in your group and you're getting an income from that. So we really have a great opportunity here that will allow you over time, not just to build up a portfolio of this very interesting ISF token, but also will allow you to participate and make a home-based business income from week to week. Our bonus calculation is done every week. And you see there at the bottom of the slide, all earnings are matched on a one-to-one basis with free loyalty points. So that means that for every euro in commission that you get, if you make €1,000 commission tonight or today, then at the end of the week, your commissions are calculated. And let's say it's €1,000, you will also get €1,000 in free loyalty points. And what can you do with your free loyalty points? Well, you can go along and exchange them into ISF and store them in your decentralized wallet. And when you feel the time is right for you, you can put them on the exchange and off you go. Simple, simple, simple. So what to do next? Well, very simple. Tonight, the goal is just really to give you an overview, a very simple overview of our business, how our business works, the different elements of our business, just to educate you a little bit further down the road to making a decision. And it's now really important just to get back to the person who invited you and just get signed up and experience the platform. Just go and have a little look around, look through the information, get the referral link, sign up as a follower, create your free account, and then also make sure that you get the right package as a supporter, and also acquire your business license to become an influencer and get registered if you're serious about the business for the next Fast Start training as an influencer. In the Fast Start training, you get instructed as to how we develop and how we build our business. And also, the person who introduced you to the business, we call them the sponsor, but not just the sponsor, but that person's sponsor as well. We call that the upline support. They will help you with your business, just to help you get started, help you getting orientated, show you around how things work. And also in the beginning, they'll be talking with the people for you that you learn how to present this business properly, et cetera, It's very easy now with this medium that we're using this evening, where we can do these Zoom calls. You can just bring some people along, sit in the comfort of your home, and we do the work. We do the talking. So they'll also help you to how to purchase your package, and also how to redeem the free loyalty points into the ISF. And also a very good idea is to join the Telegram information channel, so you're plugged in to the latest information, so that you're up to date on all the development, all the news. Very important to stay connected. And also join the weekly fast start trainings in your own language. Many countries we're operating now around the world. We've got some great leadership, and for the people who want to be educated in their own language, we will have the opportunity for that. Invite other people to be part of the community, invite others to join the business presentations, and of course, duplicate the system with your business partners. And of course, your sponsor will help you do this. So I think we have a solution for the pollution. I know we have a solution for the pollution, but it's down to us now. It's down to us as a community to come together and really make this solution come into play faster, change, and just make this planet a better place. And at the same time, helping many, many people also to create an income from working from home, and just whatever your goals are in life, helping you to achieve that. Because most of the time, we need a little bit of financial resources to make those goals, whether it be a better education for the kids, whether it be a new car or upgrade on our house, or whatever it is, just maybe go shopping, go whatever. It usually relates to something that we need some financial resources to do that. And by setting up a home-based business makes total sense. And this is something for the masses. And also it's something that we need to address, I feel, together as a worldwide community, these issues of the environment. And I think everyone will align with this, because it just makes total sense. And that's really, I suppose, for you this evening, the relevant message that we can make change for a better world, and we have a solution for the pollution. And you can be part of it and meet your goals and your dreams and your aspirations through working with us. So I thank you for your time. And Roger, I'm going to hand back to you now, and I'll stop sharing my screen, and we will see your happy face on the screen. There you go. Always a smiling Roger.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, I just wanted to leave you with one thing. This is very much as Cecilia saying. Many of us now are working from home. Okay, more and more people are working from home. And, you know, I don't know, I know what happens in the UK, but many parts of the world as well. People commute to work, and it's usually it's quite a long commute, sometimes 3-4 hours a day. So why don't you come and join us and turn your commute time into work time? So I just wanted to say thank you. We'll see you again. We're here again on Thursday. And of course, don't forget the Top Gun, which is, I can't disclose yet, but we'll have something exciting for you next Sunday as well. But come along again on Thursday, and we'll see you all again. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening and stay safe. Thank you.
Yes, bye-bye.